Okay, so we're on to the next part of your lesson plan submission, which is lesson plan submission 2, which happens to be also your final submission. Please again make sure you reviewed each of the resource items that I've put in there labeled, like evaluation assessment, accommodating exceptional learners, et cetera, et cetera. So do make sure you spend some time really looking at those things. So a couple of highlights and points I wanted to bring out in this video. One, make sure when you look at your blooms, which is one that you chose for your learning objective based on your TEK, make sure that blooms is identified or represented throughout your entire lesson. So one of the common mistakes I see is you've got a really low level TEK, but you've got them analyzing and going way above that TEK, or low level bloom, sorry, and you've got them going way above, or vice versa. So make sure if you have a low level bloom that the activities that you're doing throughout the lesson are also low level, and vice versa. If you have a really high level bloom, then they need to be working towards that high level bloom throughout the lesson. That's the purpose of really making sure you identify those correctly, is because that lesson should really reflect that level. So be aware of that with your Bloom's taxonomy. With your classroom strategies and learning styles, I put a note in there, but I just want to reiterate what I'm looking for are the primary tools that you're using. So you may use a small video to try to capture their attention, but I wouldn't necessarily say that was using technology or visual spatial if you're just using it for a few minutes. What I'm looking for are those big areas that you're saying, okay, this really is a strategy that they're learning the skill through, or this really is the learning style that they're learning the skill through. So you won't have all of them identified because in an hour lesson, it's probably unrealistic to say you're going to hit on all 8 multiple intelligences or all of the classroom strategies. So what are those main ones that you're using? Are you primarily using centers? Are you primarily using manipulatives? So what is that primary strategy and what are those primary learning intelligences? So really hone in and focus on what are those primary ones being used. And again, make sure you've gone back to look and reviewed the video on how I want you to accommodate those exceptional learners and also what I'm looking for with your evaluation and assessment.